So, one of the trades that we recently glossed over on the channel, and I say glossed over and not talked about, because we really did just only highlight this for a few minutes worth of a video, was the Oliver Bjorkstrand trade. One that I think has a lot more implication behind it, and just shows off the unfortunate circumstance of the salary cap world in somewhat of a heartbreaking way for many Columbus Blue Jackets fans. Now, if you're new here, you don't know what's up to scoop, here is the deal. Oliver Bjorkstrand was a Columbus Blue Jacket through and through, and he was a pretty good hockey player himself. Drafted out of the third round in the 2013 NHL Entry Draft, Bjorkstrand is 27 years old, 6 feet 176 as a right-handed right-wing player, and he is signed to a pretty reasonable cap hit at $5.4 million a season till the end of 2026. Now, 5.4, not too much money. That's a pretty okay amount of money for a guy that went out there and produced 57 points in 80 games played, 28 goals, 29 assists. He was nearly a 60-point guy. And when it comes to Oliver Bjorkstrand and the way that he plays the game, he has been such an admirable player for the Blue Jackets that it's really tough to find any Blue Jackets fan that doesn't like Oliver Bjorkstrand and what it was that he has done for the team. And so, when the Columbus Blue Jackets this offseason signed one Johnny Gaudreau to a huge 9.7-something AAV 7-year deal, and they also signed forward Patrik Laine to a huge extension as well, $8.7 million a season, you have yourselves a team that all of a sudden had to get rid of some money. This ultimately came in the form of the Oliver Bjorkstrand trade, which sent Bjorkstrand over to the Seattle Kraken in exchange for a 2023 third-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick. Both picks were not Seattle's original picks. These were picks from Calgary and Winnipeg that were acquired via other means, but all in all, the Seattle Kraken pretty much traded away 2 mid-round picks for a very legit and very capable 50-point, maybe even 60-65-point winger, only making 5.4 AAV. Now again, this is not a player that a lot of Blue Jackets fans are happy to depart with, but when you acknowledge that the team did need to clear up salary cap space, and that the team was already in a position of needing to move somebody else because of the Laine and Gaudreau signings, it makes it a little bit more stomachable, this trade, but at the same time, it still isn't one that, value for value, the Columbus Blue Jackets have any chance of actually winning, because look, third-round pick, fourth-round pick, the likelihood of these guys panning out is not all too guaranteed. Bjorkstrand himself was a third, but that was 9 years ago, so it might take a while even if you do have yourselves a winning draft pick there. Either way, though, I wanted to go over some tweets reacting to the trade and just analyzing what it was the Seattle Kraken ended up getting and why it's so heartbreaking that Bjorkstrand himself was the guy that was sent over. Not exclusively because of his skill on the ice and because he's a fan favorite that a lot of Blue Jackets fans are happy to have seen him play for their team, but because of his life circumstances. Here's Jay Fresh on Twitter talking about Bjorkstrand, who was traded over to Seattle. He is a play-driving two-way scorer who's one of those players who is good at pretty much everything. He's got an excellent forechecking ability, and he's especially good at creating shots. He's very good offensively, he is very good defensively, he's very good at finishing, and he can score on the power play, and he's pretty good at creating primary points as well. A 92% wins above replacement metric means that he's in the top 8% of all NHL players when it comes to overall talent in helping the team win, which is a very, very good metric. You then had this tweet posted about the personality that Bjorkstrand is. Kraken fans, Mark Sheeg says, you are not only getting a tremendous player in Bjorkstrand, you are getting a tremendous person too. He's one of the nicest I've ever covered. It's a great trade for you guys. Best of luck to him in Seattle. Now, I will say this, Oliver Bjorkstrand heading over to a team like Seattle is going to be really interesting, mostly because when it comes to right-wing players on the Columbus Blue Jackets, the number one guy there is, you don't need me to say it, it's Patrik Laine. And in fact, you still have Jakub Voracek over there too. When it comes to the Seattle Kraken, I mean, this team has Brandon Tanev, there's Slafkovsky, Jaden Schwartz is there, but the talent pool, the guys that Bjorkstrand will be competing with for ice time, it's not that great comparative to Columbus. And I do think That playing with some new blood, like Shane Wright, or playing with a guy like Matty Beniers, that has just been doing very good things throughout his college years and his early NHL days as well, it's going to be very nice to see Bjorkstrand step into a leadership type of role and take over for a team that needs some more offense. So I would not be surprised if Bjorkstrand goes out there and replicates the year that he had last season, where he was just barely under a point per game. Obviously, this season, 57 points, 80 games played, he's on pace for about 60-ish if you do the math and you round up. But last season, Bjorkstrand had 44 points in 56 games. Do the math over 82 on last year's season, and he was already a 64-point caliber winger while being a -15. This is a very good hockey player, and at the end of the day, Blue Jackets fans are kind of saying, okay, we needed to get rid of some money because, yeah, we got Gaudreau, we got Laine. If you think about it like you traded away Bjorkstrand for Gaudreau, it feels a little bit better. But the fact that the Blue Jackets were already handcuffed into forcing a trade at hand made it so that you weren't really able to go out there and trade away a Gustav Nyquist, for example. You wouldn't be able to trade away any of the other pieces that was on this team that would be expiring soon that you needed to get rid of in order to free up some money. It had to be somebody of value, and Bjorkstrand just happened to be that guy. But Lego, you're kind of just repeating everything you've said in the previous video. The video talking about Dubois and Laine and them re-signing, and of course Bjorkstrand getting traded was thrown in there too. What the heck is this reason that you're making another video about Bjorkstrand? Well, it's the quotes from Jarmo Kekalainen himself that really make things difficult to stomach. This is what Aaron Portzland said on Twitter based off of the Kekalainen quotes. He says trading Bjorkstrand was probably the hardest decision he's ever had to make as the GM of the Blue Jackets. He calls it the ugly part of the business. Now, I get it, the business is referring to the salary cap structure, the fact that there is a hard cap and that teams are forced to go out there and obey it. It leads to some teams making decisions that they don't want to make, like trading away a guy like Oliver Bjorkstrand. But at the same time, you gotta remember, this is the same team that just paid Eric Goodbranson a 4x4 contract, and that guy getting 4 years until he's 34 years old at $4 million AAV. Look, I know he had a good season in Calgary, but man, that's a bad contract. And you also had this tweet right here that really cements how unfortunate it is for Bjorkstrand himself to get traded in the way that he was. Former Blue Jackets forward Oliver Bjorkstrand replied early this morning to a text message sent after his trade to Seattle was made public on Friday. Bjorkstrand was married last weekend in Cleveland, and he's currently on his honeymoon and is still digesting the trade. No public comment for now. And, you know, you start thinking about the impact that he has on the team. You think about the points. You think about the community service. You think about the fan love. You think about Columbus accepting Oliver Bjorkstrand, some kid from Denmark, all the way over across the pond as one of their own. The fans know this. The management knows this. He knows this. He knows that he is a part of this club, part of this community, part of this environment. And he gets traded while he is on his honeymoon. He finds out about the trade while he's supposed to be just chilling out, relaxing with his spouse, and enjoying the summer as you wait for another season of hockey to get underway. And you get traded in the middle of that to a team that is definitely not in the same position that the Blue Jackets are. Imagine that. You get married, you're on a honeymoon, you find out, hey, my team just signed Johnny Gaudreau. We just signed Patrick Laine. We have 2 fantastic young players right here, and I get to be a part of that. I've been here for so long, building this strategy, building this team with this group of guys, and man, we're getting better, and oops, now I'm going to another team, and I find out while I'm on a very lovely honeymoon with my wife. That is demoralizing, I feel, but at the same time, it is a business. Stuff like this happens, and at the end of the day, I just wanted to use this video as an opportunity to talk about Bjorkstrand a little bit more, because I do feel like I kind of underestimated the impact that he had as a member of the Blue Jackets in the previous video, so this is me trying to correct my dues. Talk in the comments all your thoughts. If you're a Blue Jackets fan, all your thoughts about Bjorkstrand and losing out on him for a 3rd and a 4th. Kraken fans, you guys are very, very lucky to have this guy, and I hope you treat him right. I hope you end up loving this guy as much as the folks over in Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio ended up loving him as well. But talk in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj 9, and bye.